Welcome to Beyond Musical Sounds, where we discuss everything concerning music. We go round about it, right into it to find out the depth, the breadth, the width, and everything concerning music and our lives. And today we'll be sharing more from ourselves. My name is Diane Owino, and I'm married to this wonderful, handsome gentleman. Do you still want to hear more compliments before you can turn?
Of course, I love how you make the compliments. And my wonderful wife of many years, we have done this together since we last met at the keyboard.
Exactly. We actually met at the keyboard.
Let's talk about that.
And that's why today we'll be speaking about music and family. And for this show, we don't have a guest. We'll be sharing our own experiences, the lessons we have picked, the challenges we have met. And we hope that by opening our lives to you, you can as well pick many lessons and start singing in your family. So let's speak about meeting by the keyboard.
I remember those days, and we would have just some liking for music, first of all. I remember wanting to learn certain songs on the keyboard, like I still remember some of the songs I would play, and then you sing along.
Memories.
Precious memories,
how they linger
from somewhere to my soul. And then one day you introduced me to a song that says, it took a miracle. And you see, over time, we have noticed that marriages and homes take a miracle to build. And this is one of the songs that we learned a long time ago. We actually got to record it sometimes later. And we would like to share it at the beginning.
My Father is omnipotent, and that you can't deny. A God of might and miracles, 'tis written in the sky. It took a miracle to put the stars in place. It took a miracle to hang the world in space. But when he saved my soul, cleansed and made me whole, it took a miracle of love and grace. The Bible tells us of his power and wisdom all way through, and every little bud and flower are testimonies too. It took a miracle to put the stars in place. It took a miracle to hang the world in space. But when he saved my soul, cleansed and made me whole, it took a miracle of love and grace. It took a miracle of love and grace. And indeed, friends, it has taken a miracle of love and grace for us to even sing as a family. The miracle of a family singing together is one that God can perform. But as you notice from our story, that music is often a source of attraction. You know, you attract what you like or what you do.
Yeah, and you see, people don't know it, but when you are a singer, as a lady, you're already beautiful. Of course, people say beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. No, beholder, sorry. But when someone sings nicely, people think they are cute. People think they have a good character. So music, first of all, can cover many, many things that people need to look at in a human being objectively Don't take someone because they sing.
Did you use music to cover certain things?
Yes, I did, and I used to look powerful and big and all that as a choir trainer. Yet I needed to deal with some of the things in my own character to just grow, to just learn a lot of things about life.
And have you noticed that I too had my own
Oh
things to
my,
deal with?
you don't want me to start on that one. You need to go back home and be taught a few things, even though you sing very well. So music in itself is not what keeps the home together, but music can be a tool. So while it can be an attraction, you see, just like like Lucifer, this guy was cute and he had music on himself. Those who have music on themselves get to know as a pitfall, number one, not stanza one, okay, that's musically speaking. As a pitfall, you're likely to attract the wrong people just because you sing. So let not the home be assembled because of music. As much as people can assemble music also in the home, we'll talk about how to, even if you are two people who are not musicians. But I'm just thinking of a story of a lady I was interested in until I sat next to her in church and she sang this chord and I lost interest. We'll talk about that in another show. But the question of someone having an ability of singing should not be the anchor. You should still go beyond the character.
Okay.
Do you know there will reach a time in the home where you don't even,
Want
the guy
to
doesn't
sing.
even play the piano that you see him playing in the church. Some girls are like, oh, he plays guitar. He'll play for me guitar before I sleep. Hey, wait.
So
You might have to play your own guitar before you sleep.
So the point here is you need to look beyond the music.
Beyond the talent.
Beyond the talent. For example, for ourselves, I really loved how he would play the piano. And I would tell him, oh, I love your fingers on the piano. And he had a
sure
good brain.
It is the fingers on the piano you like.
Yes, among many other things. But as we have grown in marriage and past the initial attraction of, music and the thing that will bring us together, that you need to look beyond that music that causes you to be so attractive to people, that marriage and family requires much more than the music to actually sustain it. But we actually had some advantages while singing together.
Yeah.
How did it help?
The reason this show is called Beyond Musical Sounds is so that you don't just go for the music, but you go for the essence. So for me, what I was looking at is a heart for ministry, an ability to put together someone with whom we can do something together. So while music was an easy place to start from, I think one of our highest points was when we did a song together and we launched a book. So the book came, the song came from the book. You remember you wrote some poem talking about
Life through the seasons.
Life through the seasons, and the songs were, what was the key of that song, if I remember? It was in life through the seasons on this unsinking morn is filled with transition. Sometimes we lose it all. Something like that. And then it comes to the chorus, it's let summer's come, flowers. It was a very good song. Be filled with harvest. Great, something like that. And it would end by saying, with Jesus, life is always joy. So that was putting together two talents, the talent of being able to compose, which came from you, and the talent of being able to just write the music. You wrote the poetry, I wrote the music, we went for studio, and that was a very high point. I still remember that point.
So music can actually teach people in the home how to work together.
How to work together.
For us, I remember at some point he was serving as a lead chorister, and I was the assistant lead chorister. And we were not yet married then, but in meeting, you'd get to know, oh, this man thinks like this lady works like this, yeah? And all along in the home, we have sometimes even differences in terms of how songs should go.
Yes.
He thinks, we should sing a stanza 1 and chorus and maybe the last stanza. And I would think, no, let's sing a medley, of songs. Or sometimes I'll be melancholic about songs and sing all the stanzas sadly.
Boringly.
Boringly. And it just shows you the different personalities that you have in the home. So music in a home can actually be a tool for you to learn.
To learn to work together.
Yeah.
Then there was that time we were now arranging for a wedding, and one of the highlights of our wedding was we would script how the program would run, and then at some point we were to sing a song that says, "In my heart there." It's one of our best songs actually up to today. It's do you remember it?
You know it?
Sing a little bit.
You want to lower that key?
Okay.
In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody in heaven's harmony. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody of
That was a good song for our wedding. I still remember the reflections on it. And those songs help us to create memories of home or memories of events. So when we go out, for example, now in mission and we sing out a song maybe in a place, there is a way that just has a way of bringing out the memory of that event, and it helps us to chronicle our life's journey. And when we sometimes even watch them back, we're like, okay, that was a good step.
Indeed, that music actually helps to form very, very good memories around the home and to just bring people's hearts at home. You know, quite recently, my sisters and my auntie came visiting, and we were singing everyone's favorite song. And some of those songs were reminding us of, this is
home,
mommy's favorite. Yeah, this is grandma's favorite.
But what does it take to bring those songs to the heart of home members? Some of the place where singing can be very difficult if it's not nurtured early and constantly is at home.
And sometimes the difficulty is that when you're in a home, you'll find conflicts.
You have fought.
You have fought.
Yeah.
And then you call me for devotion. There are times he calls me for devotion and he's really annoyed me. So I sit there looking at him, I'm like, you guy, what do you want to preach? He asks me, what song do you want us to sing?
It's very hard to sing.
I don't want to sing.
You know, worship after quarrel.
Yeah, it is.
So are you saying quarrels can be one of the difficulties for people in building music at home?
It is very difficult, especially when there is a conflict and a quarrel. When you're estranged from one another, it's very hard to start singing.
You can
in
sing
such a
still
home.
a song like, "I've wandered far away from you," and then you come back home, or something like that.
Well, that is one possibility.
But it's a bit hard when you're angry.
It's hard when you're angry. One of the skills I have personally learned is when I'm feeling angry, I look for another source to help me sing.
Work out,
yeah, for example, I'll go to a YouTube page and open a song and listen to it and start singing, because if he calls me to sing at that point, I feel like, no, I'm angry with you, so I will not sing. So it's important that we find a way of encouraging one another to sing, especially after conflicts, especially when there's been a fight.
After that fight, and you sing together, two voices sound together, there's just a way you start feeling synced. You know, when we sing some harmony together, like, He leadeth me, oh blessed thought, oh words with heavenly comfort fraught. So when you hear the other voices that they can sing along with you, there's a message it sends to you, a message of unity, that the family is still together, we're still going on together. So
like there's one morning, I remember the previous night I'd gone to bed angry, and he woke up in the morning to do devotion. Now in the devotion he started singing. He started singing the song, the love of God is greater far, and I couldn't help but wake up, and I started singing along with him. I actually just joined.
You joined angrily?
No. Okay, now, after the song, the anger disappeared and we were able to discuss whatever issue I was angry about, because he started singing. So by all means, one of you has to start. Do not stop singing because a conflict has happened. in the home.
Some songwriter says that singing can bind the hearts of children to the mother. And you want to be one of the bounciest, happiest mothers in the home by singing. You know, when things go wrong, even in the home, there are songs you can sing to help you. Like, that song, I don't know if there are a lot of you.
Vumilia roho yangu, majaribu ni kama moto yanayochoma imani yangu, Bwana naomba unisaidie.
So you just train yourself to sing along even in difficulties, even in those times your husband annoys you. You know, you need to learn to sing even in that situation. So it's a thing you culture. It's not so easy. It doesn't come so easily in a family. You can be two musicians also, and for you to culture, there are many people who sing as parents, but their children don't sing. So we may also want to look at how do we transfer this to our children. We got a session on music and cradle. You may want to look at that session on how to do that.
Now, singing in conflict is not the only difficulty that you are likely to face in your home. I remember a time when you were sick, and he got so sick that night, I had to take him to the hospital in the night. And, you know, we began praying and prayed and prayed and prayed. And the next morning, he was still sick, but he woke up and went to the keyboard. He began playing the song, My Faith Has Found a Resting Place. And he got to this stanza that says, the great physician heals the sick. Do you want to get there? The great physician heals the sick, the lost he came to save. For me his precious blood he shed, for me his life he gave.
I need no other evidence. I need no other plea. It is enough that Jesus died and rose again for me.
So there are songs for different circumstances in the home, and you can have favorites for different, you know, favorite anthems for different circumstances.
Exactly.
For example, when we have, you know, something coming ahead of us and we want God to lead us, right from courtship, I would call him and ask him to play the song All the Way. All the way my Savior leads me, what have I to ask beside? Can I doubt his tender mercy, who through life has been my guide? Heavenly peace, divinest comfort, he by faith in him to dwell. For I know whatever befalls me, Jesus doeth all things well. For I know whatever befalls me, Jesus doeth all things well. So these anthems have a way of guiding us through different circumstances as a family. And it's good that you identify what's your favorite song.
Yeah,
as
favorite
a
song
home.
in the home,
Yeah.
and then your when a circumstance happens to the home or to the person, what's your song? What song, you know, pushes you through that point?
Yeah, so it's very important that a home has, you know, their favorite song or just different anthems for different circumstances when you have conflicts. Like there's a song in our house, it's actually a hymn. And when he wants to apologize and he does not want to say the words I'm sorry, he starts singing this song that says, kama nimemkwaza mwenzangu, kama nimemuumiza moyo, kama nimeenenda visivyo, nisamehe. starts that song, I just know he's done a wrong thing and I'd better be quick at forgiving. It's an easier way of making the environment light and easier to, you know, to even start conversations around home.
And then songs around devotion. Songs create a lot of interest around devotion. You will notice that people love to sing, but it's hard to sing at home. We've talked about all the challenges of singing. But by all means, let your devotional be added with interest. Have other song books where you can find songs that are not in the hymnal. You can find songs like Safe in the Arms of Jesus. There's a song like that. Just songs that like Master the Tempest, so children can learn to hear different sounds than the normal He leadeth me, you know. And just other songs. Lead me, na, 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 na. So in our house we have 1,000 hymn books. We actually could showcase them here. Just many of them, and some of these things are easy to get. Have Swahili, have as many church hymnal, so that you can get to your variety. But then there is one question: how do you prepare a home to sing in church? Some of the things I remember is you are asked as a home, come and present for us a song in Sabbath school. Did you have such sessions?
Yes, when I was growing up, my mom and my siblings would sing a lot in church. And it was the deliberate effort of my mom that every Friday evening we'd have a session of singing. And on Sabbath we would be sent early to Sabbath school to just go and present an item of music. And it had a way of making us bond as siblings, as with my sisters, up to date. You know, there are still songs we meet and sing together because of the times that we spent together while singing. So music in a home can encourage people to just be friends to one another.
And there are homes that have music, they are doing it together. When I see such homes, I respect them. The Collingsworth family. There are some even in our own land. You will find my friend George, Aunga and Evelyn. If you can sing together as a family, it's a sign that you're overcoming a lot in the home and you need to keep it up. People love to see couples singing together. People love to see couples singing together even with children also.
Now I have a question. How can music become a project of the home? Now before you answer this question, I'm going to encourage you to stay tuned to Hope Channel as we take a break. After the break, we'll have this conversation on how music can actually become a project in the home. Welcome back to Beyond Musical Sounds, and today we are discussing music and the family. Just before we took the break, we asked the question, how can music become one of the projects of the home? You know, like the way you have a construction project. Taking a child to school. Now, maybe you can tell us, do you know a family that sings? Do you know a family that has recorded? Now, that takes a lot of planning, a lot of deliberateness, a lot of design, a lot of resources, for example. We could just give you examples at home. We usually cast in our calendar a recording. If you're going to do a recording, where it's going to be done, how much it will cost, what songs we're going to sing, how we will sing them, and then we start working on them. Practice, you know. So apart from planning, then there is practice. That becomes your schedule of every day, and you can practice in various ways as you drive to work, during your devotions, deliberately, because you know you want to achieve. Is there somebody out there who wants his home to have some music, well sounding? We saw some family with kids, and the kids were sounding nicely. And you know, the Moipei sisters, those families take a lot of practice before they can get to where they are. So you as a family can also get there. So have your people practice. The reason why people do projects often is, one, it gives them an advantage that maybe I'll be living in my own home, or I'm buying land because it will give me profit in a few years. What profit does family stand to gain if they run their family as a professional industry and music in the home, you know, if it's run as a project professionally, what do I stand to gain?
First of all, if a home is run in a professional way,
how do you run a home in a professional way?
That's a good question. I knew that was coming. If a home is structured, you know what goes where. It has leadership, it has communication, it has all the things you see in an office, you know, being run as a profit-making organization. And there are many profits to a home running well. Just like there are many losses to a home that is being run down by just culture, by just what your mother told you. So professionalism is in the design of the program that carries the home. What time do we sleep? What time do we have devotion? What time do children practice? What time do we get to talk? So even in your music, people will tell that these people bringing to us music, they are divided. So you don't want to project the divisions of your home on people. First of all, go back and work on those things. Get a schedule. So that is professionalism. Get a list of what you always need in your home. And that helps you to budget. That helps you to do financial forecasting and to even limit what you spend. And then it also disseminates the information and knowledge to the other members of the home. Now that is professionalism. And we believe that homes will get great benefits if they are run that way. If you're going to buy merchandise for home, where do you get it? What quality do you get? At what time do we buy? Or do you just buy because you have money, impulse, or your child cried for a toy? Or how much toys do they need?
It's more practical if we share with you our own experience, because we are just like, you know, you who are watching us. I remember when we got married, he insisted and said, we need systems. And the first time, I think one of our first quarrels we had was about...
We need a menu.
Yeah, it was about a menu in the house. He wanted it written down to the detail of
Monday,
what is being eaten.
Very Tuesday, we are eating...
Yeah, and I remember in honeymoon, you raised this conversation of, can we write a rota of what time should we wake up? What are we going to do when we wake up? And I thought, no, home should be a place I just go and I do anything I feel like. If I feel like sleeping, I sleep. If I feel like eating, you know, I eat. And
that's how to raise homes that are disorganized, that don't achieve anything.
Exactly. And we realized that after some time, now this was my own realization, we tried my way, and then we also shifted to the other way of writing a rota and establishing systems. And when we did, we were actually able to achieve much more with our time.
Resources.
Yes, he's a busy engineer, I'm a busy doctor, but we still find time to sing.
And to do extra things like this show outside our schedule of work.
Exactly, and to develop our talents,
and the influence
writing.
Is much greater. You get more satisfaction with life than just resorting to the lazy life of I'm just doing what I can. If I'm at home and I want to eat anything, I eat everything in the fridge, and then you realize tomorrow you don't have anything to eat, and then it's also worked against your appetite. If I want to buy anything, if my child cries for everything in the shelf, I just give them. So homes need some structure, some systems, and those systems can deliver much more. We believe that music is one of the systems of a home.
And when it comes to running it professionally and running it as a project, you know, when you go to work and you've been given work to do or objectives to deliver on, even if difficulties arise, there are times, because we have set our minds that this is what we're doing, we will set our differences aside and say, no, we have been called to do this thing, let's do the thing first, finish, then we will sort our personal differences.
And by the time you're finishing the project, the differences you forgot because you had something more important to do. You realize life is not about you. You know, we quarrel over little things. You know now, how are you looking at me? Who should she look at? People quarrel like that at home. How are you looking at me?
Or why did you leave your food on the plate?
Yeah, why did you leave food on the plate? You know, small things. But if you have bigger things to work on, those small things get teased out also, especially if you have systems that deliver the holistic person who is structured, who has character, and somebody who loves to follow up on things. When you ask children to do something, they must do it. And music is one of those ways of establishing these things, because there is need for doing, redoing, and doing again to correct and to just make adjustments as you go along.
And if something is being run as a project again, it requires money.
Yes, resources now.
The resources, And resource is not just money. We've spoken about time, but now speaking about money, you'll see that if you need to do anything, you need to buy a hymn book.
Yeah.
Have you budgeted for that hymn book?
What hymn book is appropriate for what age?
Yes. Yeah. Do you have all hymn books? Because sometimes you find people don't sing in the house because you only have one hymn book for 8 people.
Yeah.
And the phones can't access the internet.
Or
so
me as a teen, I'm on phone, I cheat you that I'm singing, but I'm just doing my own thing.
Yes.
So we need a hymn book, and we need 8 of them if we are 8 in the family. That needs money.
If you want to chronicle some of those moments for memory, you may need to simply record them. You may need a phone that can record family devotions.
Yes, yes.
Or make it interesting. Yeah. And projects require a lot of deliberateness and planning. I remember when we were beginning, and even now, he still looks for stories to share with me so that devotions are interesting or music times are interesting. When I refuse to wake up in the morning, because sometimes I do, I am tired in the morning, he has a very interesting way of waking me up. Sometimes he will go to the keyboard and put it on loudspeaker and start playing. And he knows because I am, I'm sensitive to the music, I will wake up anyway when he starts playing. Yeah. And
so find something interesting to cause people to work along.
Exactly. So there are different things you can do. Now, when it comes to handling music as a project, now, projects usually you're looking at return on investment.
Exactly.
This time that you have spent singing, this money you have put to buy a hymn book, to buy music, to provide resources for music, what do they stand to gain
for it? Let's start with, let's say a parent decides, okay, I'm going to enroll my child in a music school, a music class. They are going to play a violin. I'm going to buy for them a violin. I'm going to buy a piano at home. Just anything you choose to do. One of the things you'll find your children, they'll be kept busy. They'll have something more objective to fill their time on. Number 2, you will find that if you can raise a family that can do ministry, that is something needed in this world today. Now you gain a lot when you influence other homes for Jesus, where you can do work for God. And that's what we are doing. You may want to join this. You can start in your own way. I remember the first time we started, it was a little fun. We did a little recording, we put it on Facebook. I still remember the song we sang. It was the song that now we're going to sing it well today. It was saying, once I stood in the night. And you would record it many times. I would put it on the, my phone, and I would tell you, that's bad, do it again. You remember? And then we put it out on Facebook, and people really liked it. And we said, let's do this. And somewhere God just opens the way until today. Now we are on an official platform of a studio. You never know, if you do your little thing, share it with the church, little thing, share it with the neighbors. People want to hear music from families. Families need to sing. That's the message of today.
Okay, and part of the return on investment, especially when you sing as a home, you build togetherness. You reduce stress internally.
Yeah.
You gain...
Let me talk about that stress. You know, there is a lot of cortisol, which is a stress-causing hormone. You gather as you walk out of your home, just because of the vehicle that passes at high speed scares you, the guy hooting at you, the boss who is angry at you, the business you have to do, the deadlines you have to meet. By the time you are getting home in the evening, generally your stress levels are high. And the reason a lot of people are stressed up today is they don't know how to return it. They think the only thing to do is fill up your stomach with food, and your stomach also gets stressed up through the night. So nobody rests, nothing rests. One of the easiest ways of removing, diffusing cortisol, and there are a lot of studies, is doing music that is choral, that is vocal music, doing music at home in the evening. It is so refreshing. If you're not used to it, you want to start, and we want to try it. The benefit is it outweighs so much of just going to sleep.
True. So apart from reducing stress, the other thing you gain, especially if you sing as a family, it can actually provide an extra source of income. The first time we started singing, we didn't imagine that music could actually pay us.
Yes.
We would sing because we enjoyed singing. We would sing because that's how we spend our time together. Our dates were by the keyboard, or at Uhuru Park.
We didn't know it had money.
Exactly.
Now we are sent songs from outside the country. Somebody does a recording of it, and tells me, do for me an accompaniment. I just do and send back.
And do you remember what
comes.
you'd do? Like in our first year of marriage, we were very, very broke. Okay, not so broke, but we were broke. Yeah?
Just say the truth. We
say the truth.
We were struggling, but
we were broke, Cindy.
yes.
Now, in those days, what he would do, on Sundays, he would pick people and invite them home and teach them per hour how to play piano. And we would get...
I remember I had some students and we got some money. Yeah, so you can gain economical
So you can still gain some economic strength. And we would sing, and when I started singing, people would ask, where is this music? And I remember when they started asking, you went down to River Road and you had a friend in River Road and you told that guy, my wife sings, could you just put this thing on a CD? It was some music we had recorded.
Earlier, yes.
Yeah, we had recorded them earlier, and so he put them on a CD, and when people would ask, they would say how much. We didn't even know how to price them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it gave us some money at the starting.
Exactly.
Then we got someone who recorded for us very well. And after that, today we have a YouTube channel. Apart from Hope channel, we have many channels, you know, Christ channel. There's just a lot of things happening around with music when you want to share out
Now,
with
you
people.
haven't spoken about the
Influence.
opportunities we've gotten. You know, sometimes God opens up ways.
Yes.
Now, through singing, we've got
Let's talk
to
about
travel.
the two. Let's talk about the two that I remember. In teaching music in this country, one day we were called outside the country and a whole conference came. And this conference was not just people. There were pastors, there were first elders, there were music leaders and choirs. And they sat for a whole week. We were teaching them through some of these tenets of music. I thought that was a high honor by God to bring such an arrangement. Those guys were serious about the content and quality of music. And we went there with you. It was a holiday for us in that city. We enjoyed that city. Another day we were again called from that event. Somebody was there, called us to talk to professionals in that country. All the professionals, they wanted to use music in a professional way, and that's why we were passionate about this. Again, we felt to share podium with the vice president of the GC is quite a big honor in working for just what you love to do. And do you know what? This year again, we shall go back to just keep doing the same thing. We will not disclose the location because...
Okay, so God can open up opportunities through a family singing. And when you sing together, you'll realize that God opens up opportunities for you together.
Right.
Part of the struggles of family today is how to spend time together.
Yes.
People don't get time together. You know, you're a pastor, you're invited, you go speak somewhere else, your family remains. But you'll find if you work on music together, there'll be a reason for you to stay together all the time.
And even as you do mission together, when those times we are out, it's a whole week and we're just together, we get to write, we get to talk, we get to think about the home. We get to see that this small thing we started small, but now it's becoming big, so let's put some more effort to it. Let's deliberately create time for music in the home. We believe that music in the home has a lot of benefit for you, and you want to find space for it. If you haven't started singing, start in your small way. Bring your devotional with music. Start recording and share it out with a neighbor. Your children would love to hear you sing as a father, you know, and bring all that together, and you'll see how God just grows up that in a small way. It will become big, and the influence also.
Now, friends, I know families have a lot of difficulties.
Very many.
Sometimes you're in a conflict and you're wondering why we're asking you to sing with that person.
Or maybe you're stressed up, you don't have money, resources are not adding up, health is not adding up. Can you sing at that point? The Bible says, where is God? Job says, who gives us a song in the night. And songs are much more meaningful when things are difficult.
Indeed. When things are hard, when you have conflict, when you are in a dilemma, when you are wondering what to do next, when your children or you're feeling you have failed, you need to keep a song in your heart. You know, there's something we see God doing for us each and every day. We are just a normal couple with normal fights. Yeah, we do. Yeah,
normal fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, normal challenges of life like everybody else
We go through
does.
everything that everybody goes through. But I would say with a lot of confidence and gratefulness to God that the experience we have had is God making every day sweeter than the previous one. That miracle that he did at Cana, Galilee, that he changed the wine or the water into wine until the guests marveled that the later wine was actually sweeter than the beginning. And that's a miracle we are praying for you today, that God will visit with you and make your singing experience at home sweeter than when you first started singing, that God will make your marriage sweeter than when you first entered into it, and may you keep singing at home. God bless you as you listen to this song. I pray that you'll experience the sweet love of Jesus today in your homes. Till next time, we continue to urge you to please keep your eyes on Jesus. God bless you.